We're on the air. We're on the air. Author Interview Radio brings you the hottest authors publishing on the planet today. Listen in on these private conversations. Now, here's your host. You are on the air.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce you to my friend Eddy Rodriguez. Edward, or Eddy, as I call him, is a speaker, trainer, and author. Listen to this. He once walked 2,000 miles from Deerfield Beach, Florida, to Manhattan, New York, and he has taken the lessons he learned along the walk and his own life lessons and combined them into a powerful teaching that he shares through speeches and seminars. Eddy helps people to open up their creative happiness intelligence and open their lives to more positive and productive ways. And let me tell you, you want to fasten your seatbelt because you're probably going to be laughing and rolling with tears streaming down your face because every time Eddy and I talk, it is full of love and laughter and smiles. So welcome, Eddy.
Thank you, Tammy. It's great to be here. It's always good to talk to you. I love the conversations that we have.
Me too. So tell me more about your big why. Number one, why in the world would anyone walk between Deerfield Beach and Manhattan, New York? What prompted you to do it?
You know, it's funny that you asked that. And the walk originally was supposed to be a drive. And the drive was going to be to go to Washington, D.C. to do a video that says, "Smile and wave, America, we love you." I just wanted to let people know that they're loved. And I thought, crazy as this is, I thought, you know what? It should come from our nation's capital. Happiness should come from our nation's capital. Boy, was I wrong. But anyway, what happened was is I was supposed to do this video, and I walk outside one day, and my van was missing. It was gone.
Uh-oh.
And I was going to go, yeah, I was like, wow, you know, the only thing that I thought, I didn't think about insurance, I didn't think about replacing it, I didn't think about anything. The only thing I thought was, how in the heck am I going to get to Washington now and do my video? And it took me about 15 minutes of standing there in the driveway, and I went, that's it, I'm walking. And I called a friend of mine that I had been planning this with, and I said, I'm starting to walk to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. She said, you're freaking nuts. I said, yes, thank you very much, I am. And anyway, they talked me into staying for about 3 more weeks to try and plan this thing. But I'm not really that big of a planner. I just, you know, I didn't really do much. I visited people, I talked with people, and I went out and did my thing. And then 3 weeks later, I started walking. But you asked about my why. I have a very big why. I had 3 incidences that happened with me back in 2006. First, I brought somebody into the business to run my business, to manage it, so that I could step away and become a motivational speaker. Now, funny part about that is that I couldn't speak in public, but that's another story. So I brought them in. Yeah, that was pretty big. And it's hard for a motivational speaker to speak from behind the room. Doesn't work too well, but I'm over that. I can speak freely now. So anyway, I brought this guy in, and I showed him my business, and I said, okay. And he was a really good businessman. He was an ex-CEO for an alarm company, very successful. And I bring him in. I give him full access to everything, and he ended up mismanaging the business tremendously. So I had to jump back in and save the business and bring it back into black. So it took me about 5 months to get it back in black. And when I finally did get it back in black, I got a phone call from Korea, my son-in-law. And my son-in-law was in the Army in Korea, and my daughter was there with him. They had gotten into a moped accident. My daughter had hit her head, and she was in the hospital in critical condition. She spent 45 days in the hospital, and then she passed away. Sorry, I got to catch my breath. 4 months later, I had a cerebral hemorrhage. And what happened with me was I had 3 veins that burst in the back of my brain. It filled my brain with blood. And the doctors told my ex-wife, call the family, he's dead tonight. Now, I couldn't have 2 deaths in the family in 4 months. But I tell you what happened was my ex and I fell into a depression. And about a year later, we were at the hospital. I was getting a brain scan. She asked me, she said, what do you want for your birthday? Well, the only thing that I could think about was that I wanted people to get along for one day. I couldn't think of any gifts that were monetary that I really wanted to receive. I just wanted peace in the world for one day. That was it. So I decided I would create it as much as I could. So I made myself the promise that I would share my smile with 10 million people. This is my why. My daughter was very, very happy. She was always smiling, always helping people, always doing things for the community. And I just want to share a piece of her and a piece of my family with the world. So that's why I go out and I share the smile, and I share happiness, I share joy, and I share different tools that you can use in your life in order to achieve those and to open up that creative happiness intelligence. Because when we open that up, it opens up our world.
And I can certainly attest to that, because from the moment I met you, and we actually met on Facebook, but your smile, your positive energy, when I finally met you in person, it was as if we had known one another forever, and we were just like teenagers, just having a great time, smiling, laughing, sharing our adventures in the world. And I think that I know that I'm one of the 10 million people, and not only have you made me smile the one time, but when I think of you, Eddy, I smile. So your mission, obviously, is spreading, and it's just like you said, it's the one smile at a time. And I have to ask, because did you ever get your van back?
Yes, I did, actually.
Okay. The reason is I'm thinking, I'm going, oh my goodness. So you had this plan, you're going to drive, and think about how the universe stepped in and said, we're going to just alter this a little bit. No, you're not going to drive. You're actually going to walk. And as you walk, tell me a little bit about what happened along the way that really told you were on the right path.
It's funny, because there were so many things that happened that were just absolutely incredible that said, hey, you know what, Eddy, you are doing absolutely the right thing. But the thing that really kicked it off was when I was in Jupiter. Now, I started with a little hand truck that like the kind that you use at the airport to carry the small luggage and stuff like that, or like the lawyers and things like that will use them, and they drag their briefcase and stuff with them behind it. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I started with. And of course, that wasn't a very bright idea. I'm going to walk all the way. My original destination was Washington, D.C., so I was going to walk all the way to Washington, D.C. with this little hand truck. I don't think so. So I get maybe half a mile, and I see a pawn shop. And the pawn shop, I went in there and I traded it for a stroller. And so now I'm pushing the stroller around. I got a couple duffel bags in it, and I'm going up to Jupiter. I get right into Jupiter, just get in there, and all of a sudden one of the wheels pops off. And I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do? You know, a three-wheeled stroller doesn't roll that well. I don't know what it is, but it just really doesn't roll. So I'm standing there with the wheel in my hand trying to figure out what to do. Guy shows up, and I talked to him. You know, he said there's a Home Depot right down the road. Now, I started this trip with $200. I didn't have much money in my pocket, but I knew I had to fix the stroller. So I found a way to Home Depot. I had a guy that picked me up, took me to Home Depot, really nice guy. At Home Depot, they opened up. They sat there with me for like an hour finding all the parts that we needed to fix this wheel, to put it on, and then the lady that did it handed me the parts, and she said, go out there and share some smiles for me. Everything's on us. So this is awesome. So it was like, wow, okay, this is telling me I'm doing the right things because things are falling into place like immediately. Then I go to the restaurant, and I'm so excited. I get to Shorty's restaurant, and I'm so excited. I start telling the lady about everything that just happened, the manager. And she said, oh, well, let's keep that going. The meal's on us. So she gave me the meal. I was like, oh, my gosh, this is great. So then I sat down, and I'm eating, and I'm talking to all the people around me, and there was this elderly couple that run some child care places. And they were telling me all about the child care places and how they have cameras in there so the parents can see everything that's going on at any given time during the day, which I thought was a beautiful thing. And as you know, when he got up and he went to leave, I got up and I shook his hand, and he pressed the $100 bill into my palm. And I said, sir, that's okay. That's okay. Thank you. I have some money. And he says, no, you're going to need money as you go. And I want to contribute to this cause. So that right there was enough to really get me going. But what happened next really added more flavor to the trip and to the start of the trip. I'm pushing the cart out. I've got the 2 duffel bags in there, and it's a stroller. So this lady says, what do you got in the stroller? Because she sees duffel bags, not a baby. She said, why don't you sit down here and tell us what you're doing, because you got to be doing something. Nobody pushes duffel bags around in a stroller, which is that had to be a sight. Really had to be a sight. So I sit down with her and her mother, and they're talking to me, and we're having a fantastic time. I told them all about what I was doing and stuff like that. And then they said, where are you staying tonight? I hadn't thought about where I was staying. All I was doing was having conversation. So I went, you know what? I don't know. So they said, oh, that won't do. So they started driving me around, trying to find a hotel that would comp me a room. Well, she ended up not being able to find a hotel that would comp me a room, but she found one that would give me a discount. So they drove me to the hotel, and as I went to get out of the car, they reached into their purses. And I looked and I said, oh, ladies, no. Guy just gave me $100 back at back at Shorty's. I can pay for this room. Don't worry about it. And they were like, no. You're not going to take this away from us. We're going to contribute to this walk. We love what you're doing. We want to see you keep going. And you're going to need more money than I'm sure that you have to do this. I couldn't take anything away from them, so I accepted the money. But I tell you what, I felt so humbled at that moment, and I felt so blessed to be chosen to do this walk. It was just absolutely phenomenal, and that really solidified in me that I was doing the right thing.
Wow, talk about confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, all in one day. That is just amazing. How long did it take you to go from Deerfield Beach up to Manhattan?
Well, the round trip was 277 days.
So 3/4 of a year. And okay, so I imagine that when you first started out, you had, people probably said, Eddy, you're crazy. You have $200. Yes. You have $200, and so you're talking about you started out with $200 the trip was a 277-day journey, and along the way, you started out, the gentleman gave you $100, and then those ladies gave you some, and you got meals comped and things like that. So when all was said and done, with the money issue, so many things were taken care of for you. What did you end up with when you got to Manhattan? How was your money situation?
Well, when everything was said and done and I got home, I had $200 in my pocket.
So in other words, you went on a 277-day journey, and you basically came back with $200. So it cost you nothing in terms of outgo except your time and energy. And how many smiles would you say you generated along the way?
Well, see, that's the funny thing. I say I'm going to collect 10 million smiles, but am I counting? Absolutely not.
Right.
Because if I ever reach 10 million smiles, I don't want to know, because I want to keep going. Get 200 million smiles. But I really don't want to know that I reached my 10 million, because that would be my goal. Although my goal was really Washington, D.C., and I just kept going to New York. So that part really doesn't matter. But it's like, how do you count that? You just smile, you just wave, you just say hello, you just have conversations, you just open your heart and have people open their hearts, and you share. So the number is important to me, because I know that I will reach that number. But the real thing is that I don't count how many smiles I get. I have a counter on my website, so every time somebody goes to my website, it counts them. And I think that's up to like 35,000 something, maybe 36,000 now, I'm not sure. So I've got a lot there.
What is your website, so people can go let you know they're with you?
My website is 10millionsmilesworldtour.com.
10millionsmilesworldtour.com.
Yes.
So, Eddy, you wrote your book, and you just recently revised it. So what are your goals now? Because the book itself has to be probably hilarious, because you're recounting the adventure, and I can imagine that it is just so motivational on many levels. And anyone, like you said, you lived through losing your daughter, and losing a child would have to be right up there with the things that are the most painful. And then, of course, you survived a brain hemorrhage, which that in itself is a miracle, because you have a mission and a big, big message, and it's very clear to me. That's why I wanted to interview you, because it's like, wow, I get to contribute. I get to help you spread the word about such a positive thing. So tell me a little bit more about your book and some of your goals for the book and your mission that you're on.
Well, you mentioned about the book being funny. Now, I don't really consider myself a funny guy, but I like to try anyway. I throw them out there and I just let it go. And I had a friend of mine that she got the book for her daughter, because her daughter was in the hospital. She went into the hospital and had surgery and stuff. And so when her daughter got out and she came home, she was staying with my friend, and she started reading her daughter the book. Well, they had to stop reading the book, because her daughter was laughing so hard, they were afraid they were going to break the stitches or loosen the stitches, or something was going to happen. So they decided to wait until she was a little bit more healed before they continued reading the book. They just loved it. And I've been very blessed by the reviews that I've gotten on Amazon. And if if everybody goes to Amazon and checks out the reviews, I have people that have said this is the best book they ever read. I had somebody that said that they were at the airport and an 8-hour flight delay, and everybody around them was going ballistic. They were all angry, and kids were screaming, and it was just, a madhouse. So you can imagine an 8-hour delay on a flight. And she said that the only thing that she could think of was to be calm and to be patient and to spread smiles because she was sitting there reading the book. And
that's powerful.
To me, that is such a blessing that it's hard for me to fathom that it can really make that much of an impact on people. But it has. I had another lady she was reading it as she was flying, and when they landed, she kept reading, and they had to tell her, listen, ma'am, you need to exit the plane. And she said, can I finish this chapter, please? So it's like, wow. So that's fantastic. And my goal for the book is to be able to give people tools that they can use in their lives. I have examples in there of things that you can do to really make your life better, to see things differently, to change the point of view from which you sit. Because, as Einstein said, the mind that created the problem cannot change it. So what this book does, in my opinion, is that it helps people to change their mindset. It helps people to change their views and to see that things that people deem impossible are possible. Now, I said I started with $200 and I ended with $200. Little tidbit, I tipped 20% at every restaurant that I ate at. I had no plan on where I was sleeping, where I was eating. So how do you do that? How many days do you spend outside, sleeping under the stars? For me, it was 0. I never went hungry. I never went without a bed to lay in. And I was never stuck in a place for more than 5 minutes when my cart or my stroller broke down. There was always somebody there that showed up.
Wow. That is just so phenomenal, because everything that you're saying is just perfect evidence of how when you're on the right path, everything comes to you. You become a magnet for all things good. And you are, like, even just talking to you now, I can feel that positive energy coming through the airwaves. And I don't even know, you're on the east coast of Florida and I'm on the west coast of Florida. So it's at least a couple hundred miles, that this energy has to travel, and I can feel it. That's really, really cool. You seem to have this magical ability. How would you describe that ability that you have, so that people can imagine what it's like seeing the world from your eyes?
Well, for me, it's not really about me. It's about the mission. It's about what do you have in your life that you can take and turn into something so phenomenal that it drives you, that it opens up that happiness intelligence. How you get creative, how you just expand your world, and how your heart just pounds every time that you wake up in the morning. Your heart races with joy, with happiness, that you're able to go out and make a difference in somebody's life today, right now. So this really isn't about me. This is the mission. This is the spirit that drives me. This is the universe for me, or for other people it may be God or whatever it is for you, that says, hey, you know what? You are important in this world, and you can make a difference. You can really open up the hearts of those around you. You can really help other people to see life differently, to have a view where things are absolutely perfect. Now, are they absolutely perfect? Absolutely not. The world has many twists and turns. However, if you take all of those life challenges and understand the fact that in each one of them, there is a gift. And sometimes the gifts come in the ugliest packages. I know that having my daughter pass was an extremely ugly package. It's the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Yet somehow, some way, I was given a gift to be able to see the beauty that I can create from it, to see the good that I can do in this world. So you ask me, what is it about me? It's nothing about me. It's really nothing about me. It's about the ability to be able to open my heart and share it. I'm willing to share of myself to be able to help others not to go through what I went through. So whoever's listening out there, remember, we go through things, but we're not alone. There are other people out there that are going through the same thing that we go through. And if you happen to be depressed, that's okay. Challenge yourself to fight that depression. I fought the depression by starting my Smile project. Did I have a smile at that time? No, I did not. However, I faked it till I made it. I laughed. I played. I spread happiness. I smiled when inside I was dying. But because of the fact that I was able to do that, and I had a guiding light and a purpose in my life, I've made it. I've come out the other side. And now I'm able to just go out and laugh and play and smile and help people freely. And to me, that is such a blessing.
Wow, Eddy, that is just so beautiful. And I think that you make a really good point. Sometimes we do feel like we're so alone. And the depression, it will fool you into thinking that you are alone. But it seems like after a while, when you start to, you have to fight it and look at the world and see how it can change. Because I know that I've fought depression, you've fought depression. We all have different things that happen to us where we think that, oh my God, this has to be the worst thing ever. But somehow you come out of it and you realize that we have to keep moving forward, that it's part of our growth process. And like for you, you made that decision. You chose happiness because you could have just said, hey, I've got a brain aneurysm, I'm leaving. I don't want to stay in this world and fight, because of all those things, but yet you chose to see it from a different perspective. So if somebody wants to connect with you, Eddy, and learn more about your public speaking, about your journey, about your world happiness tour, your 10 Million Smiles program, where can they go to find out more?
They can go to the website, 10millionsmilesworldtour.com. They can also go to my Facebook, which is the same, 10 Million Smiles World Tour. And just go to Facebook and put in the search bar 10 Million Smiles World Tour. It'll pop right up. They can call me. Give me a call. My phone number is 561-506-4607. And you can also email me at fromfl2ny@gmail.com.
And
I would love to connect with you.
And the book is available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback. And again, go check that out. Get the book. I mean, I love the fact that the woman on the airplane was like, just let me finish this chapter. Because that tells you
didn't want to get off.
how engaging it is, because it is when you're that engaged in a book, that tells you that you're really hitting somebody where it counts, and that's in the heart and soul, because they want to be in that state of love and happiness. And I bet she was smiling the whole time. And I love the story about the woman at the airport with all the angry people, because I've been in situations where, for whatever the delay was, and I know I've heard people making all kinds of comments, and I'm sitting there going, wow, look at the snowflakes, when I got stuck in snow in Dallas, and it was a weird situation, and of course they wouldn't let us off the plane. But it is really all about how you look at your world, and believe me, it's a lot more fun to look at the world from the perspective of good and how good things are coming to you, instead of looking at it from the other side where everything is negative. So, Eddy, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story. I know that there's a lot more to it, but I really appreciate all the time you took with me today, and I'll definitely be sharing this interview around. And where are you going on another journey anytime soon on your world tour?
Oh, absolutely. I've already started. I've done some book signings. I just got back from Orlando, and I had a phenomenal trip out there. I met some great people. And I don't know where I'm going to be going. I'm going to do this just like I did my walk. Like on my walk, I was supposed to walk straight up to Washington, D.C. I ended up taking the coast. When I got into Georgia, I swung a right. I went through Charleston. I went through Savannah, Charleston. I went to the Outer Banks, out to Chesapeake Bay, out to Virginia Beach, back into Washington, D.C., where was my final destination. Was supposed to be Washington, D.C., but you know what? I just kept going. I went to New York. So I am going to be taking a trip. What I ask is anybody that would like to have me come and speak at a conference or to a mastermind or to whatever it is, give me a call, contact me. I would love to come out and share, because it is my responsibility to go out and share what I have learned in my life. That's what it is for me. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share just real quickly what responsibility means to me. Would that be okay?
Oh, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Responsibility, and I heard this from a friend of mine that I was having a conversation with. It was so amazing to me. It just stuck. Responsibility is really your response to your abilities. How do you respond to your abilities? What do you do with them? Every one of us was given a God-given talent. Every one of us. How do we take that talent and use it? And what if we don't know what that talent is? If we open up that creative happiness intelligence, that talent will be brought to us and shown to us. And then what do we do with it? What is our response to our abilities?
Can you repeat your phone number a couple times so that our audience can give you a call if they would like to talk to you or make an appointment to have you come speak?
Absolutely. My phone number is 561-506-4607. Again, 561-506-4607. And also call me if you'd like some 10 Million Smiles Happiness Ambassador T-shirts. I've got T-shirts. I've got wristbands. Yeah, they're phenomenal. I think everybody will love the logo. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let you go see it. But I tell you, when I found this logo, it opened up my heart, and it made me smile. And I sure hope it does the same for you.
Well, I've been smiling the entire time that we've been on this interview. So, Eddy, again, thank you so much. And everybody, make sure you go check out his book, From FL to NY. And what is the official title of the book?
The official title is 10 Million Smiles from FL to NY. So okay. 10 Million Smiles from FL to NY.
By Edward Rodriguez on Amazon.
Yes.
So, Eddy, thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. And everybody, do reach out to Eddy and find out more about 10 Million Smiles. It's something that every single person can get behind and really benefit from. And if anything, just smile. Smile at that person, that you see, and you could make that one person's day just with the simple smile.
You absolutely can. Thank you, Tamara, for having me on the show. It's very much an honor. And everybody out there that's listening, know that you're loved, that you're cared for, and that you are really, 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 really important in this world. You can make a difference. And that smile of yours can actually save people's lives. It's the most powerful tool that we were born with. And it will open more doors than you can ever imagine. Thank you.
This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been on the air, listening to Author Interview Radio. To get instant access to all the private author conversations, go to authorinterviewradio.com. Subscribe now.